Hey everyone, and welcome. So today, we are going to dive deep into one of the most important adventures any of us can take, the journey of self-awareness. The ancient Greeks had a beautiful word for it, authognosia. It's all about the path to really truly understanding who we are underneath it all.
So let's just start right there with a pretty massive question. I want you to really think about this for a second. Who are you, really? I mean, when you strip away the job title, the family roles, all the stories you tell yourself, who is that person at the very center?
All right, let's get into it. The best way to think about this explainer is like a roadmap. We've pulled together some of the most powerful ideas from psychology and philosophy to give you a clear, practical guide for navigating that incredible inner world of yours. And here's where we're headed. First, we'll talk about the quest for self, what sparks this whole journey in the first place. Then we're going to tackle the big one, the constant battle between the ego and the true self. After that, we'll unpack the incredible power of forgiveness. Then we'll get practical with some tools for the journey. And finally, we'll see how this all leads to a new way of being. Okay, let's start at the beginning, the quest for self. See, this whole journey doesn't just happen. It really begins in that moment when we finally switch off the autopilot and start to actually question why we do what we do, why we feel what we feel. So what is self-awareness really? Well, here's the thing. It's not some finish line you cross. It's an ongoing, active process of just observing yourself. And, this is key, doing it without judgment. It's about getting curious about your own character, your true feelings, what really drives you, and what you honestly deeply want out of life. And this naturally leads us to this huge central conflict that plays out inside all of us, the ego versus the true self. A massive part of self-awareness is just learning to tell these two voices apart, and then choosing which one you're going to listen to. So, what exactly is the ego? Well, the easiest way to picture it is like a mask. It's this sort of false identity that we build up over a lifetime from our thoughts, our roles, our memories. It's a survival tool for sure, but it's not the real you. Just look at the difference here. The ego is always on the defensive, always comparing you to others. It lives for labels and is terrified of being criticized. But the true self, it's totally different. It sees things as they are, no defense needed. It's peaceful, it's present, and it sees a thought like, I am my failures, and just observes it without believing it. Think about it for a second. Which one of those voices sounds more familiar to you? Okay, now we're getting to a really big one, the power of forgiveness. And listen, this has nothing to do with letting someone else off the hook. This is about letting yourself off the hook. It is a radical act of self-liberation, and it is absolutely essential if you want to stop letting the past weigh down your present. I mean, this says it all, doesn't it? Forgiveness is a gift to ourselves. Holding on to all that anger and resentment, it doesn't really punish the other person. It just keeps poisoning you. Forgiveness is you making the choice to finally put down that heavy, heavy rock. And this is so, so important to get right. Let's be super clear about what forgiveness is and what it absolutely is not. It is about releasing that pain for your own sake. It is about taking your power back. It is not about forgetting what happened or saying it was okay. And it definitely doesn't mean you have to be friends with a person who hurt you. It's an inside job, a personal act of freedom. Now, this whole journey might sound like it's all in your head, right? But the good news is you don't have to go it alone. There are guides. And in this section, we've kind of distilled the wisdom from tons of timeless books into some really practical tools you can use. You'll find these 4 themes pop up again and again. First, healing childhood wounds, because let's be honest, that's where so many of our adult patterns come from. Second, finding a deeper meaning that goes beyond just getting through the day. Third, practicing self-compassion, which is just learning to treat yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a good friend. And finally, building a real solid belief in your own potential. And these themes are everywhere in some truly brilliant books. You've got works like The Prisons of Our Childhood that just dive right into how our past shapes us. And then a personal favorite, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It looks like a simple story about a bird, but it's this incredibly powerful metaphor for finding your own purpose. Books like Love for the Imperfect teach us how to be kinder to ourselves, and well, Believe in Yourself is pretty self-explanatory. These aren't just things to read, they're tools. So, after all this work, what's the payoff? Where does this journey actually take us? Well, it leads to a completely new way of being. When you start to see the ego for what it is, when you forgive the past, when you use these tools, you don't just feel a little better. You actually start to live differently, more honestly, more you. There's this quote from a book called The School for Gods that it hits the nail on the head. Change, and the world will change too. The world is as it is because you are as you are, and not the other way around. It just completely flips the script, right? It's telling us we're not just victims of our circumstances. Our outer world is literally a mirror of our inner world. And that right there is really the heart of it all. This entire journey is about making one fundamental shift, moving from a life of automatic, knee-jerk reactions to a life of conscious, deliberate choices. It's about finally getting in the driver's seat of your own life. So, I'm going to leave you with one last thing to think about as you go on your own path, a question to just kind of carry with you. If you could truly, completely let go of just one single belief that's been holding you back, who would you become?